Have you ever considered what might really lie behind a gift? What it might carry beyond the material value and the gesture from the one who gave it? According to Buddhist teachings, every object comes with a unique energy, a certain vibration that can deeply affect our lives, our thoughts, and even the peace within our home. Today, we'll uncover the 10 types of gifts that, according to Buddhist wisdom, you should never accept from anyone. But I need you to pay close attention because no one imagines the potential danger behind the last 3 gifts I'll reveal. This isn't about being ungrateful or suspicious. It's about true spiritual protection. What may seem like just a gift could actually be loaded with energies that aren't beneficial for you and could attract misfortune, emotional imbalance, or even block the flow of prosperity in your life. Imagine, for instance, that gift you received from someone that unexpectedly seemed to mark the beginning of a rocky or difficult period in your life. Situations like this aren't necessarily coincidences. In Buddhist philosophy, gifts are seen as much more than objects. They carry not only the intention of the giver, but also the experiences and emotions they've absorbed over time. And when you accept a gift, especially without knowing the true energy it holds, you're literally opening a door for these vibrations to enter your life and influence your energy field. The importance of awareness when receiving. At this point, you might be wondering, can accepting a gift really impact my life and spiritual peace? According to these ancient teachings, the answer is yes. When we accept an object from someone, we bring with it an energetic connection to that person and to the context in which the gift was involved. In other words, we also receive the influences it carries, whether good or bad. That's why Buddhism teaches us to be mindful of the gifts we allow into our lives. This doesn't mean we should be ungrateful, but rather selective to protect our balance and well-being. So, why are these gifts considered risky? Think of situations where a gift might be filled with negative intentions, difficult memories, or even energetic influences from conflicts and losses. Accepting objects with such energetic loads can impact our daily lives in ways we don't immediately notice. But over time, they start to interfere with our peace and contribute to the blocks we feel in life. These undesirable gifts often carry feelings of hurt, resentment, or even jealousy, creating an invisible yet powerful effect. It's not about ingratitude, it's about protection. Buddhist teachings show us that this practice of careful selection is not an act of rejection, but rather a way to protect our energy field. If you knew that opening a door to a stranger could bring an unknown influence, you'd be just as cautious, wouldn't you? The same applies to objects, especially those offered as gifts. Some objects may be harmless, while others, unfortunately, can drain our energies, creating spiritual and even physical imbalances. So before accepting any gift, ask yourself, does this object genuinely contribute to my well-being and the harmony of my home? Finally, I invite you to stay until the end of this video, as we'll be sharing 2 additional types of gifts that weren't in the original list, but can be just as harmful. Together, we'll uncover all 10 gifts you should never accept, so you can protect yourself from negative influences and keep your peace and prosperity intact. When we talk about protecting our energy and maintaining inner peace, every detail counts, including the objects and gifts we allow into our lives. In Buddhism, the idea that each object carries its own energy is fundamental, and this naturally includes the gifts we receive. One type of gift we should be cautious about accepting is an item inherited from someone unknown or from those who led a turbulent life. It may seem like a generous and even sentimental gesture, but inheriting something from someone who went through intense times filled with suffering or conflict can bring an energetic burden into our personal space. Each object holds the imprint of its history and former owner, and accepting something that was part of a life filled with challenges can lead to emotional blockages, an invisible weight that lingers around us. Imagine that a piece of jewelry or furniture carries the vibrations of the experiences of its previous owner. By keeping it close to us, there's a chance that these vibrations could affect us. This doesn't mean it's impossible to accept such items, but suggests that we should handle them with special care. An energetic cleansing, using sage, incense, or meditation, can help alleviate this burden, But it's also important to consider whether we truly want this object in our lives. Another gift that requires careful thought is any item offered by someone with whom we have a complicated relationship. When we receive something from someone we have conflicts or resentments with, we're often opening a door to an energetic link with that person that may keep the tension alive. In some cases, the act of giving may even be linked to intentions of manipulation or control, and that energy can be embedded in the gift. This type of gift can bring a sense of obligation or create an emotional debt that brings an invisible burden into our space. In Buddhism, clarity of intentions and peace in relationships are highly valued. Receiving something from a person we have conflicts with could therefore prolong discord's vibrations. So, upon receiving a gift under these conditions, it's crucial to reflect on whether this gesture is a genuine attempt at harmony or if in reality it perpetuates a cycle of discomfort and conflict. Accepting something under these circumstances may seem like an act of diplomacy, but sometimes it's wiser to politely decline and thus preserve inner peace. The situation becomes even more delicate when we discuss objects that came from disputes or family conflicts. Inheritances or items that were disputed and surrounded by family disagreements carry the energy of all those situations. Let's imagine, for instance, an item that was part of a legal inheritance battle. This object was likely marked by feelings of anger, envy, and frustration. By allowing an item like this into our home, we're bringing in the vibrations of discord and tension. In Buddhism, maintaining harmony in our lives is fundamental, and objects that have brought pain or conflict, even indirectly, can disrupt this balance. Often, even after a conflict has been resolved, the energies of resentment and sadness remain linked to the object, affecting the people around it. If it's truly necessary to keep a gift with this history, it's recommended to perform a purification to try and neutralize any negative energy. However, reflecting before accepting it is always the safest path. Another type of gift to avoid is one that brings painful memories or evokes difficult periods in our lives. Keeping objects that act as emotional anchor can trap us in feelings of sadness, loss, or regret, and these gifts end up perpetuating cycles of suffering. In Buddhist practice, learning to live in the present is an essential step for inner peace, and holding on to objects that constantly remind us of difficult times hinders the process of letting go of what no longer serves us. Evaluating whether it's really necessary to keep such a gift can be liberating, as by releasing these material memories, we make room for new and positive experiences. Keeping an object that relates to the past can be tempting, but often letting it go with gratitude is a way to move forward in our own healing and growth process. These initial examples illustrate the importance of being mindful and selective about the gifts we choose to accept. Not everything offered to us should be immediately received, as every object carries an energetic charge. Each item has its own story, and these stories can impact our energetic field, influencing how we feel and experience life in our own environment. When we reflect on the gifts we accept, it's essential to recognize that in many cases, an item's value goes beyond its material nature. It carries intentions and expectations. An example of this is gifts offered with implicit conditions. Have you ever received a gift that instead of bringing joy came with a sense of debt or obligation? These types of presents carry a hidden price that can compromise our emotional and mental freedom. In Buddhism, the purity of intention is highly valued. A genuine gift should be given without any expectation of something in return, whether it's loyalty, obligation, or future reciprocity. When we accept a gift with these hidden strings attached, we're in a way agreeing to an unspoken contract that binds us to that person in a draining manner. This energy of obligatory exchange goes against the principles of spiritual freedom and inner peace, as feelings of obligation drain our energy and place an invisible burden on our minds. This is why it's important to ask ourselves, does this gift come with conditions that might make me feel trapped or indebted? By politely saying no thank you in such cases, we're preserving our tranquility and protecting our energy from unnecessary attachments. Another consideration is receiving overly expensive or luxurious gifts, especially from people with whom we don't have a deep or close relationship. In Buddhism, simplicity and detachment are core values, and accepting a costly gift can disrupt this balance, creating inequality within the relationship. When someone offers us a high-value gift, it can spark a feeling of discomfort or even an obligation to reciprocate. This creates a kind of emotional debt, even if unintentionally, which can compromise harmony between the parties. Additionally, there is a risk that such gifts may be an attempt to gain influence or control, establishing power over us through the presented item. Imagine the weight and discomfort of receiving something you cannot repay. It's often better to politely decline, expressing that the relationship or friendship means more than any material possession. This simple act of choosing simplicity strengthens a relationship based on mutual respect and authenticity, free from the interference of items that create unwanted ties. There are also gifts that may seem harmless but are offered in moments of tension, such as after an argument or disagreement. During a conflict, energies of anger, hurt, or resentment permeate everything around us, including anything we offer or receive at that time. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of maintaining a state of peace and harmony, and accepting a gift tainted with turbulent emotions may bring those vibrations into our space, disrupting our sense of calm. For example, if someone gives us something as an attempt to smooth over a conflict, the intention might be positive, but the tense energy of the moment is still embedded in the object. By keeping it, we risk perpetuating the memories and emotions tied to that situation, allowing the discomfort of the disagreement to continue lingering around us. In such cases, declining the gift politely and focusing on resolving the conflict directly can prevent these unsettling energies from settling into our environment. After all, true reconciliation comes through dialogue and understanding, not from exchanging objects that carry echoes of conflict. It's important to remember that the space we live in reflects our energy and inner peace. The objects around us shape the atmosphere of our space, and accepting gifts without deep reflection can disrupt this balance. In Buddhist practice, cultivating a harmonious and energetically healthy environment is essential, and often saying no to carrying invisible burdens is an act of self-care and spiritual preservation. As we enter the fourth block, let's consider a type of gift that at first glance may seem innocent but carries significant energetic weight. Objects that bring painful memories or evoke challenging periods in life. In Buddhism, the practice of detachment is essential for inner peace, and this includes releasing objects closely associated with past traumas or negative emotions. When we keep items around us that remind us of suffering, we are, perhaps unknowingly, perpetuating these feelings and creating a cycle of pain that can prevent us from moving forward. It's as though these heavy memories are anchored within us through these objects, keeping us bound to a past that no longer serves us and blocking the arrival of new positive energies into our lives. While such a gift may hold sentimental value if it continually brings up memories of painful or difficult times, it might be time to assess its real impact on our well-being. Often releasing these items, whether by donating them or storing them in a less accessible place, is a crucial step toward breaking free from draining emotional cycles. This act of detachment opens space for new experiences and positive energies to fill our surroundings and minds, helping us live fully in the present and build a more harmonious future. This gesture of release, while simple, is immensely powerful for those seeking inner peace and spiritual growth. Another important point is gifts related to spiritual or religious practices we don't fully understand or with which we don't resonate. In many cultures, items like amulets, talismans, or ritualistic objects carry intense symbolic and energetic significance. In Buddhism, it's believed that such objects should align with our spiritual intentions and purpose. Accepting a spiritual gift without fully understanding its meaning or purpose can introduce energetic influences into our space for which we may not be prepared. Additionally, using these objects without knowing how to handle them correctly can lead to imbalances that interfere with our personal practice and even attract undesirable vibrations. For example, a talisman that holds sacred value in a particular culture might carry a specific energy that doesn't align with the beliefs or practices of the person receiving it. This doesn't imply the object itself is negative, but rather that its energy may not be compatible with our spiritual path. In Buddhism, there is a strong emphasis on respecting traditions and maintaining clarity of intention in every aspect of our spiritual journey. Thus, accepting spiritual gifts without the proper discernment can open doors to external influences we don't fully understand. If we don't feel connected to a spiritual item or are unfamiliar with its origin and purpose, it is often wiser to thank the giver and politely decline, thereby protecting our energy field and keeping our practice in harmony with our essence. Maintaining energetic alignment is a form of self-care. By declining spiritual gifts that we don't understand, we honor our own journey and the energies we choose to incorporate into our path. As we delve deeper, another crucial aspect to consider is gifts that come with implicit conditions or expectations. Many times we accept gifts thinking of the good intentions of the giver. However, in Buddhism, pure intention is essential in any act of generosity or exchange. Gifts offered with the expectation of a favor, loyalty, or specific behavior cease to be genuine acts of kindness, and instead become tools of manipulation. This dynamic can even entangle us in imbalanced relationships where we feel pressured to meet others' expectations, often at the expense of our peace of mind. Accepting a gift with hidden conditions can compromise our freedom and tranquility. Often these gifts carry a sense of debt or even an unspoken contract, making you feel as though you owe something to the giver. Such exchanges can pull us into cycles of frustrating expectations and obligations that drain our energy and undermine our well-being. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to act with full awareness, avoiding situations that threaten our serenity and spiritual independence. When we notice a gift carries conditions or emotional strings attached, we must carefully consider the potential impact on our life. When assessing a gift like this, take a moment for deep reflection. Do you truly want to carry the weight of someone else's expectations? In many cases, declining a gift with conditions is an act of self-respect, a gesture of self-care that safeguards our inner peace. Refusal in this context is not a sign of rudeness, but rather a conscious choice that keeps our freedom and integrity intact. If the thought of accepting this gift brings discomfort or a sense of obligation, it might be best to politely decline, thereby preserving our energy and autonomy. And similarly, it's also important to consider luxurious or excessively expensive gifts that don't align with the nature of our relationship with the giver. In Buddhism, we value simplicity and detachment from material possessions as foundations for a serene mind. Accepting a high-value gift can often create an imbalance in the relationship, making us feel indebted or even uncomfortable, especially if we're not in a position to reciprocate in kind. Many times, these types of gifts carry an emotional charge or a hidden intention that can disrupt the harmony and natural flow of the relationship. When we accept an expensive gift, we risk creating an uneven power dynamic in which the giver may expect something in return, whether that's eternal gratitude, future favors, or even a form of control over us. This situation can lead to feelings of obligation or even guilt, impacting our freedom and peace of mind. Buddhism upholds balanced relationships rooted in mutual respect and detachment, and accepting a gift that deviates from these principles can lead to both internal and external conflicts. If a luxurious gift causes us any discomfort, it's a sign that it may carry expectations or intentions we're not prepared to sustain. So instead of accepting it and feeling pressured, consider the option of politely declining, explaining that such grandeur isn't necessary. This kind of response helps preserve simplicity and authenticity in relationships, allowing our bonds to remain healthy and harmonious, free from the complications that material gifts can introduce. To conclude this journey through the gifts that, according to Buddhist teachings, we should avoid, we reach an essential point: the real impact these objects can have on our energy and well-being. Many don't realize it, but accepting certain gifts is like opening a door to energies that can interfere with our peace and balance. Every item we allow into our lives has its own vibrational field, along with stories, intentions, and energies that may not always align what we envision for our path. By accepting a gift with a negative emotional charge or one arising from complex circumstances, we may inadvertently allow those vibrations to become part of our reality. Keeping our personal space free of unwanted energies is not an act of selfishness, but a form of self-care and respect for our own spiritual journey. In Buddhism, caring for the environment around us is an essential practice, as it's within this space that we renew our energies and seek harmony. If a gift brings conflicting energies or is not aligned with the peace we seek, then declining it may be the wisest decision. This isn't about ingratitude, but rather preserving our tranquility and ensuring that our personal space remains a refuge of serenity and balance. From now on, whenever you're surprised with a gift, take a moment to ask yourself, does this object truly contribute to the peaceful and prosperous environment I want to cultivate? This simple reflection can help you avoid carrying energies that you neither need nor want. Often, by saying no, thank you, we're making a much larger gesture than just refusing a gift. We're reaffirming our commitment to our own inner peace and to preserving our energy. Remember, there's absolutely no harm in being selective about what we allow into our lives. Each decision to accept or decline a gift is, in reality, a choice between maintaining our peace or opening the door to possible disturbances. The practice of detachment is fundamental in Buddhism, as it enables us to cultivate an environment where our mind and spirit can truly thrive. If this content helped you gain a deeper understanding of the energies surrounding the gifts and objects in your life and the importance of protecting your inner peace, I thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to keep exploring topics that support balance and harmony in your life, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Don't forget to share your reflections or experiences on what we discussed today in the comments. Your thoughts are valuable and may inspire others. Remember, taking care of your energy is an act of self-love, and every choice you make contributes to building a lighter, more fulfilling life. See you in the next video.